Hi, this is Walter Borgen, the broker and trainer of RE/MAX Signature in the Daytona Beach area. I wanted to show you 3 tools that we use in our servicing a listing class to help improve communication with sellers. So the first one is going to be our listing activity report in the FELX MLS. This is going to show what properties other people have looked at that are similar to ours, what properties they've saved and shared, and just what kind of activity that has happened since we listed the property. So it's a great report that you can set up to send to the seller on an automatic basis. Another tool that we're going to use is the buyer match. Now this is for proactive agents who they have buyers that are in their MLS that are in saved searches. This tool will allow you to go in and search all the buyers in your database and create a list that you can call or email to let them know about your new listing. So this is a powerful tool that everybody should be using when they take on a new listing. And the cool part about it is you can actually do this tool on any listing. It doesn't even have to be yours. So if you see a hot property in the MLS somewhere, you could take that property, do a buyer match, and have a call list that day. The third one is going to be using reverse prospecting early on when you get a listing. Often people don't use this right away, but this reverse prospecting tool will notify other agents of prospects that are in their saved searches that might match your criteria. So within the first week of listing a property, you should absolutely do the reverse prospecting to notify other agents that your listing matches theirs, and hopefully they'll give them a call. Now, you can do that by email, and you can also do it by giving the agent a phone call as well. So those are the 3 things that we're going to hit, and they're the critical parts of servicing a listing and being a proactive listing agent. So in just a second, I'm going to show you step by step how to get into FELX MLS and get those things done. Okay, so the first thing I've done here is I've logged into the MLS and I've done a little pre-search for one of our listings. So this is a property on Plumpjack Court and Water's Edge. So you'll see that I've done the search. We have one listing that came up, and that's all I'm looking for because it's my specific listing. When we get that listing, we're going to click on List. And when we click on List, here's the critical part, and you can do this on any listing in the MLS. Next to the MLS number, you'll see that there's a little drop-down arrow, and that little drop-down arrow is going to open up a menu. And there's a couple things you can do with that menu. Now, the 2 that we're going to focus on from here are going to be the Match Contacts, which is a very powerful tool that we're going to go over next, and the other one is going to be listing activity. So this listing activity report is a very good report that you could set your sellers up on an automated basis, or you could use it during your weekly or bi-weekly call with your seller to give them an update on what's going on in the market with their listing. So all you have to do there again is click the little drop down box and then click listing activity. And it's going to generate a report, and you can set it up to be between certain time periods. So this started from when the listing was listing till today, June 24th. So it's going to give a couple weeks of activity. Now, it's going to give the basics up here. And as you see here, it's going to talk about how many people were emailed this property and how many people searched it and saw it on FELX MLS and how many people got it sent to their portal. Right? Here's a little report that or little graphs that kind of show you the same. Now, down here is kind of cool. This is a very powerful thing. Now, this listing is still new, so this information is going to be relatively new. But it'll say people who viewed this listing also saved the following listings. So that means if the people have a portal and they're using their portal, that's the prospects out there, they're using their portal and they saved the listing as one that they liked, these are the other listings that they saved. So this is very interesting to see what the competition is. When people were, those 69 people that saw this listing, what else did they like and what did they look at? So coincidentally, they were all 3 bedrooms and they were all from about $240,000 to $299,000. And so you can see we're kind of on the higher end of that. Now, the next thing it'll show you here is who viewed this listing, what other listings did they view and click on, what other things were of interest to them. So you'll notice that some of these that were sent to them are now pending. Okay, so that's a very interesting thing. You'll be able to notice that which ones went pending since they were sent to this person and since this listing came active. The great part about this is it'll also show expired status and it'll show closed status. So if you've had a listing that's been on the market for a while, sometimes this will be lit up and there'll be a lot of listings that have closed and maybe yours hasn't closed yet, and that's going to give you a great indication of what's going on. So that's the basic of this report. It's very, very simple. You have a couple options up here at the top. You can either print this, you can email this, or you can set it up to be an auto email to go out to your seller every 2 weeks or so. So I recommend that you try and set things to go up like I said, every 2 weeks, so that you can make a call at a minimum of every 2 weeks. On Wednesdays are a great time. So Wednesday, say between 9 and 11, you block those 2 hours out to call all of your listings and kind of review the information, the showing that you've sent them, the market activity that you've sent them, the new competition that's came on the market, or maybe things that have sold. So this is step one of that process. Okay, so we're going to go in and do a property match this time. Now, we have to have an active property to do a contact match. We're going to go into a contact match. Now, we have to have an active property to do a contact match. So I had to do a different search because the other property we were looking at was already under contract. So I went over here and I picked Laura's listing on Creekwater. And what I'm able to do, if I was the listing agent or just an agent in the office that thought this was a great property to sell, I do the same thing. I come over to the MLS number, I click the little triangle below the next to the MLS number, and then I'm going to go to match contacts. It's really that simple. As soon as I click match contacts, I want you to see what's going to start happening. It's going to search through your entire database, and it's going to build a list of people for you to call, contact, email, text, do whatever you have to do to either come to your open house, set up a showing with them, or whatever you need. So this is great for proactive agents. It's also great to let sellers know that you've actively went out there and done something to get their home sold. You didn't just stick it in the MLS and waited. You proactively took action to try and get people to come see their property or bring it to the front of their mind. Okay, it's finished. So it's created a list of everybody that matches that Water's Edge property that's active in our system for us to be able to take a look at and proactively give them a text, email, or call to let them know about this new listing. So you'll see here that there's quite a list. It's probably 30 people maybe or more that I have to call. And that's great to tell the seller, I've already matched your property with 30 potential buyers, and I'm going to see if any of them are interested in taking action. So I hope you found that tool useful. I know people in the class really love that option because you can use a simple email, phone call, or text to generate demand for your new listings right away. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do the reverse prospecting now. So this is a very simple process and very easy to follow. What you're going to do is you're going to scroll up here to the More tab, and you'll see there's a little drop-down arrow next to the More tab. So you're going to click on that, and it's going to give you a menu of all of the other options that you have in your MLS menu or toolbar. You're going to scroll down until you see Reverse Prospecting, and you're simply going to click Reverse Prospecting. That's going to bring you up a menu of all of the properties that you have. So you can simply select a property, an active property, and decide which one you want to do the reverse prospecting on. So I went ahead and selected this property here, and then once I'm done with that, in the top right corner, right over here, you'll see we're going to hit Run Reverse Prospecting, and that's it. As soon as we're done with that, it's going to generate us a list. So we click that button, and you'll see that there's a bar here. This bar is going through and searching all of the agents and all of the profiles of every buyer in the MLS. So it takes a couple minutes to get through this, but once it's done, you'll have a great list of all of the people that may have interested buyers in their portals or in their prospect carts. So I'm going to go ahead and put us on pause until this finishes, and then we'll pick up from there. Okay, so now it's built our list. So this list is of all of the real estate agents that are in the Board of Realtors that have a saved search in the MLS, okay, that and a prospect in there that matches the criteria of the listing we have. So it's going to do something really nice. It's going to send them an email, and it's going to notify that agent of the potential buyer that they have. Now, when the agent gets this email, it's actually going to have their contact's name and phone number and email right in there to say, hey, agent so-and-so, your contact, John Doe, is looking for a listing just like Walter Borgen has. So it's a great opportunity for you to be able to find the agents most likely to have a buyer. This is way better than just randomly e-blasting your new listing to every agent out there. This is a way that you can tell the seller that you're proactive and you've contacted, look at this list, you've contacted 50 or 100 or however many listings agents that are on here, 50 or 100 agents that have prospects that match their home. So you can do that simply by selecting this little checkbox over here, and you see that that'll select all or some of the people that are registered. If there's anybody that you wanted to uncheck for one reason or another, you could certainly uncheck those and it won't send them to them. But when you get to the bottom, you'll have an email selected. So you simply click that email selected button, and that's going to email all of those agents your listing. And I'm going to show you what the email that the agents will get like in just a second so that you'll be able to see it. Now, the other thing that I think is really important here is that this list gives you their phone number as well. So emails are great to send out there, but remember, an email is very easy for someone to delete and doesn't necessarily get the same effect as a text or a phone call. So of any of the agents that you know in here, or maybe you think would be great, this is also a great call list for you to sit down and call those agents and say, hey, I just sent you a reverse prospect for one of your customers because I got a new listing and the MLS says that you might have somebody that matches it and just wanted to give you a call. So this will also help you set up to get more activity to your open houses, to your new listing, and get that property sold within the first 30 days. So you can use this reverse prospecting tool for price reductions, new listings, open houses, or if a contract falls apart. There's a lot of great activities that you can use this and then communicate to the seller that you've taken this action so that they know that you're being proactive in getting their home sold. Okay, so I want to show you an example of the reverse prospecting. One of our agents did this for us today, or not today, but recently, and I wanted to show you what the email looks like to you when it comes in. So you'll see that Water's Edge price reduction, $6,000, came from Kirsten, and it's going to give a picture of the listing, and it's going to highlight the contact that I have in my database, who happened to be a test person that I had entered in there. But if it was a real prospect, it would have the test person's email and phone number right in my email box, so that way I can just easily give them a call. And this was done by that little process that we just went through. So you can see how this is very effective and much better than just shooting an email out to people who may or may not actually have a prospect in mind. So it's a powerful tool for you to be able to use, and I hope you take advantage of it. So those were 3 great tools that we use in our service and listing class. 1 is your listing activity report, 2 is your contact match report, and then 3 is the reverse prospecting. I hope you're using those tools weekly or bi-weekly to communicate with your seller and be a proactive agent to get maximum results. Well, please share, comment, or let me know what you think about this video. And if you have any questions or need any help, please feel free to give me a call, text, or email, and I'll be glad to do whatever I can. Thanks a lot and have a great day.